Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today on this Thursday, October 29th? Welcome to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner on 12OZSportsRadio.com. I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. We are live in Baltimore, Maryland, which is home of the Baltimore Orioles and the Baltimore Ravens. Who's excited for today's show? This is the 114th show we are doing today. And I hope you all are enjoying your very week so far. We have some breaking news right onto this show today. The breaking news is as follows. That the New York Giants have all but 4 offensive linemen in quarantine. And there is practice going on as usual today. Otherwise, this has been first reported by Mike Garofalo of NFL Network. Contract creation has been done, and there has been no issues with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and other players who were out on Friday night. So in reality, it is really no big deal. So it kind of is a big deal, but it really isn't. It'll be just fine, folks. We're gonna be okay. So practice is proceeding as normal with the Giants today. Otherwise, everyone else is in the building, and I really don't have a lot to say. And Tom Pelissero was the one that reported with the all but first offensive lineman. All right, where do I begin with the World Series recap? Yes. I'm in front of a computer right now. Hey, computer, talk to me. That's right, it doesn't respond back to me. Should Blake Snell be pulled from the game? Or should he not be? Oh yeah, it can't talk back to me. You can't rely on games when you go based off a computer. It's a nice technology tool to have, which I have right in front of me. I wouldn't be doing my show without it otherwise. But the truth of the matter is we can't use computers and robots and analytics as the all end of everything. No, Kevin Cash shouldn't have pulled Blake Snell. Come on. Anyone with half a brain could figure that out who was watching baseball. And that's why the Los Angeles Dodgers won Game 6 3-1 when they were down 1-0. And the Los Angeles Dodgers champions for the first time since 1988. The Tampa Bay Rays, that's what got them here, analytics. But say goodnight to them. We need to use more guts, more glory, more this. Ask the New York Mets what happened in 2015. Yeah, they didn't win Game 5 of the World Series against the Kansas City Royals. But Terry Collins went with his gut and his glory and put Matt Harvey back out of ninth when he was up 2-0. But that's better than what Kevin Cash did. And this is why I was talking to a couple of New York Yankees fans the other day. And they'll tell you this is probably the reason why they haven't won a title since 2009. Because the Yankees won 27 titles off a World Series. Very funny they haven't been a very good analytical team. Analytics, everyone, I think it should be gone. Why do you think people are going more to long ball, no more bunting? No one knows how to bunt anymore. No one simply knows how to bunt anymore. Well, I know players are being paid to hit homers and RBIs for a low batting average. They don't care you strike out 130, 150 times a year. As long as you're hitting 250, adding 30 homers and 90 RBIs, hey, that's a successful year. But this is how the game has changed, and it's not changed for the better. Analytics hasn't killed football, hasn't killed basketball, and hasn't killed hockey. But it has definitely killed baseball. And also Corey Seager won the MVP. He's only the 8th player in the MLB history to win an LCS MVP and a World Series MVP. And I just remember Corey Seager a few years ago in the 2015 playoffs watching him against New York Mets, how he couldn't catch up to a 100-mile-an-hour fastball thrown by Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard. He was behind every single time. But I knew he was one of their best prospects. Be like, okay, this guy's going to get better. Here we are 5 years later, 6 years later. This guy's a World Series champion for a reason. I am going to say this. And I know you all have a problem with Justin Turner going out on the field after the game. But I don't. Folks, the MLB is at 100% fault to pull a player from the 6th inning when everyone has been tested, and you want to pull a player in the middle of a game. That's downright ridiculous. First of all, he had no idea before the game this was even the case. Had they known before the game, then okay, then I blame him and whatever else. But let's not please suspend Justin Turner. Can the MLB look itself in the mirror on this? I have no problem with Justin Turner celebrating with his teammates. Folks, if you have a problem with him celebrating, and it for a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I would be out there with my teammates also. The fact that you have a problem with him celebrating after getting tested positive, maybe you're the problem. Folks, this whole thing has been a media scare from the very start. And I completely understand about the people that have passed away tragically from this. I get that. But the fearmonger that the media has put out about this whole coronavirus situation was a tactic from the very beginning. And this is the latest one. Folks, he has every right to celebrate and he earned that championship. You want to take that precious moment away from him? Because, he tested positive. Let's shut it down, everything. No! Absolutely not. Justin Turner had every right to be out there with his teammates and celebrate. Yeah, put on a mask and social distance, fine. But you do not let him ruin the chance of this moment. The MLB, if they really cared, would have not had him play to begin with. It was too late for him to be isolated, and you really thought he was going to listen for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? What if he's never here again? Rob Manfred is a disgusting S.O. blank. Okay? That's what he is this morning. You're going to tell him to isolate when you drop the ball on a virus test. You have no credibility whatsoever as a Major League Commissioner. You're the reason why baseball season never happened. Almost got canceled entirely. And now you want to make Justin Turner the scapegoat for all this, which is a shameful on you. And you want to know something? Good for Justin Turner for sticking the middle finger to everybody. Good for him. He kissed his wife or girlfriend or whatever and holding that World Series championship trophy because he earned it. And yes, I understand and no, I'm not trying to discredit the fact he could spread it on. But when are we going to stop being fearmongers about this whole thing? And of course I'm trying to be careful. But Justin Turner has every right to celebrate with his teammates. And if you have a problem with that, shame on you. Okay? So Dave Roberts finally gets a ring as a manager. Clayton Kershaw is finally a World Series champion once and for all. He's no longer labeled as playoff choker. They have won first World Series title since 1988 against the Oakland Athletics in 5 games. And can they repeat as World Series in 2021? Let's find out right here now, though, nonetheless. Here are the odds for the 2021 World Series. The Los Angeles Dodgers have the best odds to win it all next season at plus 500. At plus 500, they had the best odds. The next best odds, now I found this according to sportsbettingdime.com. The New York Yankees are the second favorites to win all next season at plus 600. The Atlanta Braves plus 1,200. Chicago White Sox and San Diego Padres plus 1,100. Now, those are 2 teams that are on the rise. I think those are very interesting bets next season. Tampa Bay Rays are at plus 1,400 odds. They got a good team. Maybe they'll get some stars. You got to win with stars. The Cincinnati Reds and the Oakland Athletics are at plus 1,600. I like Oakland. Cincinnati is the team on the rise. They could be a little too high. The Cleveland Indians and the Minnesota Twins are at plus 2,000. That's about right. Odds to win the World Series next season. The Chicago Cubs, the Astros, and the New York Mets are at plus 2,500 odds to win all next season. Chicago could be a little higher. I like their offense. If they could get the same pitching they did this year, then I think they could go on a run. Houston Astros, I think they're going to drop. They're going to lose. I think they're going to lose. I personally think they're losing George Springer. He said he doesn't want to go back. I think he's going to be a New York Met or a Boston Red Sox. He wants to play close to Connecticut, where he's from. New Britain, Connecticut. And then... oh, and the Mets get a new owner, Steve Cohen, and you got the Wilpons who are selling the team. Oh, I'm going to get to that story in just a few minutes on here. All right. The Philadelphia Phillies, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Washington Nationals, and the Los Angeles Angels are at plus 3,000 odds to win it all next season. The Boston Red Sox, the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Toronto Blue Jays are at plus 4,000 odds to win it all next season. The Detroit Tigers and the Miami Marlins are at plus 5,000 odds to win it all next year. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the Baltimore Orioles, the Kansas City Royals, and the San Francisco Giants are at plus 6,000 odds to win the World Series next season. The Colorado Rockies are at plus 7,000 odds to win it all next year. The Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers are at plus 8,000 odds to win it all next year. The Pittsburgh Pirates had the worst odds, plus 10,000, though nonetheless for next year. My 5 favorites, Los Angeles Dodgers, Mookie Betts. I thought he was a great addition. Trade from the Boston Red Sox. They didn't have David Price starting pitcher because of the coronavirus. He opted out of the year. And then you have the Atlanta Braves. I think the New York Yankees, I think they're going to have a nice, full, healthy rotation next year. Luis Severino, James Paxton, Domingo Germán, Garrett Cole, and we'll see if Masahiro Tanaka returns. I'll get to free agents in a minute. And then I think the Oakland Athletics, they got to fix up a couple of things over there. And the Chicago Cubs I actually like next year for a potential World Series appearance. All right. Here's some of the marquee free agents in the offseason. JT Realmuto, catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. George Springer, outfielder, Houston Astros. DJ LeMahieu, second baseman, New York Yankees. Every New York Yankees fan wants him back. Marcell Ozuna, outfielder, Atlanta Braves. Marcus Semien, shortstop, Oakland Athletics. That's an interesting name to keep an eye on. I don't know if Oakland can afford to keep him or not. Nelson Cruz, DH, Minnesota Twins. Aldredton Simmons, shortstop, Los Angeles Angels. Trevor Bauer, starting pitcher, Cincinnati Reds. He's a hot market, and that guy's got, why talk about me having no filter, Glenn? That's no filter. Trevor right there. I mean, you see his Twitter account? You go on his Twitter? This guy's got no filter. Marcus Drummond, starting pitcher, New York Mets. Didi Gregori, shortstop, Philadelphia Phillies. Justin Turner, third baseman, Los Angeles Dodgers. Liam Hendricks, relief pitcher, Oakland Athletics. Michael Brantley, outfielder, Houston Astros. While the Athletics better afford to keep Hendricks, or they're in big-time trouble in that bullpen. Michael Brantley, outfielder, Houston Astros. Masahiro Tanaka, starting pitcher, New York Yankees. And Jackie Bradley Jr., outfielder, Boston Red Sox. I don't know if they're going to keep him. Especially if they bring in George Springer. There's no way they're going to probably bring in Jackie Bradley. Let's see what general manager Chaim Bloom decides to do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. You tune up right now. I hope all you 7-Line Army New York Met fans are absolutely ready for me to chew off the ears of Mr. Andy Martino of SNY, Jerry Reinsdorf, Alex Rodriguez, and Mr. Mayor de Blasio himself in New York City. Here we go. There's a report from the New York Post today. De Blasio tried everything to block the sale of New York Mets' sale of Steve Cohen, reported by the New York Post. Mr. Andy Martino of SNY is absolutely trying to stir the pot in every way for him, as in the Cohen sale not to happen. He's just trying to fuel the fire to all this, because he's just trying to report on complete nonsense and BS that's trying to take place. Now let me say this. There is no way that the mayor of New York can possibly try and block this. And let me tell you something, Steve Cohen's taking him to court immediately, because Cohen will win outright because all the money he has. And Tim Healy in Newsday, quote, it's a headline, Bill de Blasio spokesman denies report that mayor's trying to kill Mets sale to Steve Cohen. Which kind of actually, why I understand this makes sense. And I know everyone's killing de Blasio. I get it. A lot of people don't like him, what he's done in New York City. I understand that. But there's another interesting thing why this makes sense. You know, politicians with money. Okay. So there's a guy from the New York Post. His name is Mike Vaccaro. Mike Vaccaro wrote a story from the same exact newspaper with the New York Post with de Blasio. He called Alex Rodriguez, Jerry Reinsdorf, losers, sore losers that is, because Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez were a part of the sale once upon a time trying to bid for it, and they lost. Because Jerry Reinsdorf does not want Cohen to get the Mets, this is a last-second attempt by the evil, vicious snake man. Jerry Reinsdorf owns the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bulls. I don't know if you watch The Last Dance, but if you do watch that Last Dance documentary of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, we know how evil this man is. Because of the whole money situation. Because Reinsdorf is buddy-buddy with Alex Rodriguez, maybe Rodriguez and Reinsdorf are teaming up to try and get de Blasio at the last second to stop the sale. That is the only explanation to this. And yes, Andy Martino is a complete clown and doofus when it comes to player reporting. There's no questions asked when it comes to that stuff. But the truth of the matter is that the sore losers of Alex Rodriguez and Jerry Reinsdorf cannot be more correct. This is a Alex Rodriguez and Jerry Reinsdorf camp trying to report something at the very last second to get the sale to not go through. And and I'm telling you, every fan of New York City will be upset. And the 7-Line Army is the heartbeat and heart and soul of New York Mets fans. And once upon a time, Alex Rodriguez, was the heartbeat and heart and soul of the New York Yankees. And he's probably jealous that his partner, Derek Jeter, is a CEO of the Miami Marlins, and maybe he wants to clash with each other. That could be the only explanation as to why this would be the case. And no, the sale will not be declined. Because you probably will see riots upon Mets fans. and New York Yankee fans and anybody else in that city would agree. Even the Yankees owner wants Steve Cohen. It's good for baseball. Rob Manfred. So, Reggie Jackson wishing my friend and New Yorker Steve Cohen a successful MLB vote Friday to join baseball's fraternity. He's a lifetime fan. He's wanted the team since the day I, quote, met him. I'm sure he'll get the franchise back on its winning ways. MLB and the city need him. Go, my man. So, that's what it is. Okay. Before I get into my next segment, use promo code 12Z Sports, all cash with deposit bonus up to $1,000. Here we are. Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. We are live. MyBookie.ag. 12Z Sports. Quench your thirst. Quench your sports thirst, excuse me. 12OZSportsRadio.com/Amazon. Promo 12OZ Sports. Okay. Now that I'm done ranting about this, though nonetheless, here we go. Before I get into my NFL segment, here's the question that was asked on Twitter the other day, and I forgot to post it on my preview for yesterday. Here's the question. Top 10 moments that we wish were around with Twitter. Now, before I ask the question, I'm going to list... Actually, let me ask the question first. The question is, name one sports moment you wish at Twitter was around for. Think an emoji. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, at my Twitter account, at Glenn Kaplan _13, please tweet to me what sports moments you wish that were around, like before Twitter. What sports moments do you wish were around then? And here are my 10 moments that I wish Twitter was around for. Number 10. Randy Johnson kills a bird. That has never happened in baseball before. Randy Johnson killing a bird. Number 9. The Vince Young Rose Bowl when Texas played USC. Because you know how it gets when it comes to national championship games. Twitter explodes for that. That's a good one. Number 8. The Tuck Rule game. Can you imagine Tom Brady in the snow? A lot of people thought it was a fumble, and then it was ruled an incomplete pass, and that jump-started the New England Patriots dynasty with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They're no longer with each other. Bill Belichick's coaching Cam Newton in New England now, and now Tom Brady's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Bruce Arians. Number 7. The Immaculate Reception. You want to talk about, you know how people on Twitter today are like, the catch, like, what's a catch, not a catch? Well, the Immaculate Reception, that would have been crazy. Number 6. The O.J. Simpson Speed Chase. Oh boy, a lot of people would have been going off on that one. Number 5. The 1936 Olympics. Number 4. The Patrick Ewing Lottery. Where, you know how a lot of people with the New York Rangers in the lottery ball this year saying fixed? Well, that might have been the case there. Number 3. The Bill Buckner missed ground ball in the 1986 World Series. When the Boston Red Sox lost Game 6 to the New York Mets, and the New York Mets won in Game 7 in 1986. That was a very interesting 1986 World Series. Number 2. The Malice at the Palace. Between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. With Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. That actually happened to be the same year the Pistons won the championship in 4 or 5 games against the Los Angeles Lakers. Next, that was when Kobe Bean Bryant, Karl Malone were all there. Number 1, the New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox, 2004 ALCS, when the Yankees had a 3-0 series lead and the Red Sox came back to win that series 4-3 and swept the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. Now, there are a lot of others. There are a lot other very interesting takes on this. But send them to me on my Twitter account at @GlennKaplan_13. So, here we are. Use promo code 12OZSports, all caps, with deposit bonus up to $1,000 for my bookie. Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner, we are live. MyBookie.ag. 12OZSports, quench your sports thirst. 12OZSportsRadio.com/Amazon. Promo code 12OZSports. Okay. Now moving to the quick NBA offseason update before I get into the NFL. The Philadelphia 76ers have decided to hire Daryl Morey to run the basketball operations in the front office. He was with the Houston Rockets for the past few years. I wonder if he's going to trade for either James Harden or Russell Westbrook. Stephen A. Smith mentioned that on First Take this morning on ESPN. This is going to be super intriguing to see which direction they want to go in. Doc Rivers, his new head coach, and we'll see who gets traded between Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Joel Embiid. Trade number 1, I'm going over this very quickly. Houston acquires Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. Philadelphia acquires James Harden, Eric Gordon, Robert Covington, Daniel House Jr. Trade number 2, Brooklyn acquires Joel Embiid. Philadelphia acquires Spencer Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, Rhinos Kuric, and Nicholas Claxton. Philadelphia acquires number 2 overall pick Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, and Eric Paschall. Golden State acquires Joel Embiid. The last trade I have is Philadelphia acquires Clint Capella, Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter, Brunello Fernando, Brian Goodwin, and the 6th overall pick in the 2020 NBA Draft. Atlanta acquires Joel Embiid and maybe first or second round pick in either 2020 or the 2021 NBA Draft, along with a player to be named later, potentially though nonetheless. Ben Simmons can't seem to be traded because of a PPE in his contract, which makes it difficult for me to do trades on ESPN.com NBA trading machine, though nonetheless. It appears as a general manager, Elton Brand's not going to be dealing with trades, and here comes the analytics from Daryl Morey, though nonetheless. And I have no update on the NHL offseason. There are no NHL offseason updates at this time, though nonetheless. Let me quickly go through Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Rams recap. The Los Angeles Rams took down the Chicago Bears in this game by a final score of 24-10. Los Angeles is one of the most underrated teams in the NFL this season. Chicago's inept on offense, and maybe they should go back to Mitchell Trubisky and bench Nick Foles, but I highly doubt it will happen. I don't think they brought in Nick Foles from the Jacksonville Jaguars in trade to be on the bench. Trubisky hasn't worked out, and Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans and Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs are both better, though, nonetheless, because they were the same draft class. General manager Ryan Pace has not helped out Matt Nagy's bunch. He's the head coach, and this is his 3rd season with the football team, though, nonetheless. Trubisky is more mobile than Foles is, but if Mitchell Trubisky cuts back, he may be better than ever, though, nonetheless, because I think benching Mitchell Trubisky might be helpful in the long run. Sean McVay's bunch is playing really hard. Nick Foles completed 28 of 40 passes for 261 yards, 2 interceptions. Cordero Patterson rushed for 1 yard on 3 carries. David Montgomery rushed for 48 yards on 14 carries. Also caught 5 passes for 21 yards receiving. Allen Robinson caught 4 passes for 70 yards receiving. Cole Kmet caught 2 passes for 45 yards receiving. Darnell Mooney caught 3 passes for 40 yards receiving. Jimmy Graham caught 5 passes for 31 yards receiving. The only touchdown in this game that was scored by Chicago was on an 8-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by Eddie Jackson, nonetheless. So if Nick Foles can't play well on Sunday against New Orleans Saints, maybe it's Mitchell Trubisky time. Okay, Jared Goff completed 23 of 33 passes for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's having a very underrated year for Sean McVay. He also rushed for 1 yard on 4 carries. Jared Goff, I'm telling you, he's underrated. Darrell Henderson rushed for 64 yards on 15 carries. He also caught 2 passes for 13 yards receiving. Malcolm Brown rushed for 57 yards and 10 carries and a touchdown. Josh Reynolds caught 4 passes for 52 yards and a touchdown. Johnny Munn caught 3 passes for 47 yards receiving. Cooper Kupp caught 6 passes for 43 yards receiving. He also rushed for 16 yards on 1 carry. Robert Woods caught 3 passes for 22 yards receiving. Also rushed for 23 yards on 4 carries. Van Jefferson also caught 1 pass for 14 yards receiving, though nonetheless. Okay. Yep. So, yeah, I thought I had a bad feeling that was gonna be like a 6-3 football game. I really did. I actually thought it was gonna be low scoring. I mean, Chicago's in the playoffs. They're the 5th seed right now. The Rams are like the 7th seed. I thought it with the Rams when they had the same record, but it has to do something with the Arizona Cardinals in the mix. Though, nonetheless. And starting like maybe sometime next week, we'll get through the the NFL playoff picture. Here we go. Week 8 NFL preview. Last week was another good week with my predictions for the 2020 NFL season. And I feel like this is the best year ever when it comes to predicting games. Yes, this is only my second year on radio doing this, but I've been predicting games for the last 5 to 6 years on other sports writing / blogs on different websites though. I went 10-4 with my picks last week, and my record so far this season is 71, 34, and 1. Though nonetheless, some of the teams that will be on the bye this week are the Washington football team, the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Arizona Cardinals, though nonetheless. First game on the agenda tonight, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. This is going to be a quietly interesting game on Thursday Night Football. Carolina already beat Atlanta in Week 5, and it wouldn't be surprising to see the Panthers sweep the season series from the Falcons, though nonetheless. Running back Christian McCaffrey, I wrote, is expected to be back for the Carolina Panthers in the backfield. It's more than likely he's probably not going to play in this football game, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. He has missed the last several weeks with an ankle injury. Mike Davis has done his job in the backfield, and will probably have to be called upon again tonight. Teddy Bridgewater will be distributing the ball to DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson along with Curtis Samuel, though. Bridgewater's a game manager, but he does a lot of things with Grayson Class. He does a lot of that. And then Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Todd Gurley II, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst will play just enough for Atlanta to lose. For Raheem Morris's bunch, though, nonetheless. The Carolina Panthers defense is a little bit better. You want to talk about Matt Rule, head coach who does things with Grayson Class a lot of the time. And then lost my place. Carolina will also dictate the defensive line. The Carolina Panthers defense is a little bit better than the Atlanta Falcons defense. Carolina will also dictate the line of scrimmage against Atlanta, and they no longer have Dan Quinn. Quinn was fired after the last matchup. Maybe Morris gets shown the door here also by owner Arthur Blank. Now that's probably not going to happen. Well, the Carolina Panthers will win this game over the Atlanta Falcons by a final score of 31-21. Game of the week, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. That will be 31-21, not the Steelers-Ravens, but Falcons-Panthers. Pittsburgh Steelers versus Baltimore Ravens is my game of the week. This is another version of the bloodbath in the AFC North. The Baltimore Ravens swept the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. Pittsburgh is a different version this season than Baltimore is. Ben Roethlisberger is healthy this season, and that defense will swarm Lamar Jackson. The Steelers will look sharp from start to finish. They also have more playmakers on the outside, and the Ravens' run game is going to be a problem. If Pittsburgh leads 24-7 over Baltimore this week, they don't need to sweat about it, though, nonetheless. Mike Tomlin will outcoach John Harbaugh in this game. They almost won one game against them last season. The Pittsburgh Steelers will win this game over the Baltimore Ravens by a final score of 24-13. Upset special of the week. Indianapolis Colts versus the Detroit Lions. The Indianapolis Colts are coming off a bye week, but the Detroit Lions have a favorable enough schedule that they could go on a winning streak. Indianapolis is currently in the 7th spot in the AFC, and Detroit is looking to make some noise in the NFC wildcard race, though, nonetheless. Matthew Stafford is going to outplay Phillip Rivers. The Lions' run defense, they just acquired Everson Griffin from the Dallas Cowboys, who used to play with the Minnesota Vikings, will do just enough to win them this game. And by the way, Everson Griffin will not be there until, not this game, but the next game. And Griffin's going to upgrade that defense. They have a very underrated run defense under Matt Patricia, but we'll see. And the Colts will lose on the line of scrimmage, though, nonetheless. The Detroit Lions will win this game over the Indianapolis Colts by a final score of 29-25. So the Detroit Lions will win this game over the Indianapolis Colts by a final score of 29-25. All right. The blowout of the week. New York Jets versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just use the high school football mercy rule in this game? If the Kansas City Chiefs go up by 35 points or more, which I could theoretically see happening, just run the clock the rest of the game. They should just load manage Patrick Mahomes and they would still win this game with Chad Henne. Le'Veon Bell is going to want the ball as much as possible in this game to shove it up Adam Gase's behind. And Gase said he isn't worried about a Le'Veon Bell, a Le'Veon Bell revenge game, but he needs to worry. He is more happy with Andy Reid as the head coach of this football team. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will get some carries in this game as well. Sam Darnold could maybe be playing his last game in the New York Jets uniform because of the trade deadline with the trade rumor speculations, though, nonetheless. I mean, here's the thing. With the thing about Sam Darnold is that he's the heartbeat and heart and soul of the New York Jets, but then they're probably just going to find a way to get rid of him because they probably want to draft Trevor Lawrence. Okay. They have Frank Gore, LaMichael P. Ryan, Jamison Crowder, and Braxton Berrios. And the Chiefs got Tyreek Hill, McCall Hardman Jr., DeMarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins, and Travis Kelce. Though nonetheless, the Kansas City Chiefs will blow out the New York Jets by a final score of 45-3. Los Angeles Rams versus the Miami Dolphins. This is going to be the starting debut for Tua Tagovailoa, the rookie quarterback for the Miami Dolphins out of University of Alabama. Well, you got Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals from LSU already killing it. Justin Herbert, the rookie quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, out of the University of Oregon, and he's killing it. And he may be disrupted a lot by the abundance of Aaron Donald for the Los Angeles Rams early and often. Ryan Fitzpatrick will be on the bench cheering and rooting them on. John Wolford is the Rams' backup quarterback, though, nonetheless. This game will be won on the line of scrimmage. This game could potentially be ugly for both teams. We'll see how Jared Goff airs it out. Miami will be showing signs of immediate growth if they pull out this game, but I don't know if it will happen. Los Angeles will be ready to stay focused with Sean McVay, and Brian Flores will have his guys ready coming off a bye, though, nonetheless. The Los Angeles Rams will win this game on the last second. The Los Angeles Rams will win this game on a last-second field goal or a touchdown over the Miami Dolphins by a final score of 19-16. Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have won 3 consecutive games against Minnesota Vikings, and I expect them to make it 4 consecutive games. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are looking to stay in the number 1 seed in the NFC. Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings are in play for the number 1 overall pick, and they will be one of the teams that will tank for Trevor Lawrence at the University of Clemson, though, nonetheless. Aaron Jones will outplay Dalvin Cook if both of them are even healthy in the backfield. And the Green Bay Packers will cruise in this game over the Minnesota Vikings by a final score of 27-16. Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns. Derek Carr wants to get back into the thick of the AFC wildcard chase in this one, but Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and other defensive players will have something to say about it. Josh Jacobs will be held in check once again. Baker Mayfield will be able to throw the football all over the field without Odell Beckham Jr. And Jarvis Landry, Rashad Higgins, and Donovan Peoples-Jones will be able to get the ball evenly. Kareem Hunt will get a load of the carries this week, and Nick Chubb will be back soon. And I was reading on my NFL Yahoo fantasy app that Chubb is expected back for the Cleveland Browns after the bye week. So this is maybe a potential plus for the Cleveland Browns, but it remains to be seen. Darren Waller could be a problem for Cleveland's defense. Harrison Bryant is taking over Austin Hooper. He's out this week. And David Njoku's the second tight end for the Browns, though, nonetheless. So Hunt, Chubb, and Ernest. Yeah, Hunt, Chubb, and Ernest. We will see how that goes moving forward. Max Crosby, Clelin Ferrell, and the rest of the Vegas Raiders defensive unit will be silent. The Cleveland Browns will take down the Vegas Raiders by a final score of 34-23. Tennessee Titans versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Tennessee Titans will look to take it out on the Cincinnati Bengals early and often in this game. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Corey Davis will look to take down a really bad Cincinnati Bengals defense. Joe Burrow will get his yardage and touchdowns. He's done a lot of things with grace and class this year. I mean, this guy is something special. And then, but he will be let down again despite having Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, though nonetheless. Third downs will be a big key in this game and also key stops. Mike Vrabel will be outworking Zach Taylor all game long on the other sideline, though, nonetheless. When it comes to coaching, though, nonetheless. I mean, it's a big deal. Nonetheless, the Tennessee Titans will win this game over the Cincinnati Bengals by a final score of 40-20. New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills. This will officially be the game that ends the New England Patriots run in the AFC East. And this will signal a full rebuild is in effect for this football team. This will also be the game where the Buffalo Bills are going to be the new kings of the AFC East. Josh Allen is going to outplay Cam Newton in a big way, and Stephon Diggs will torch the secondary, but expect a good dose of Buffalo running the football with Devin Singletary. Here's the thing. The New England Patriots are potentially looking to trade cornerback Stephon Gilmore, and they were trying to trade him last offseason. And the thing that Colin Cowherd at Fox Sports 1 always mentions is that he believes that the New England Patriots, always move off of players at the right time. So, we'll see if Colin Cowherd's right or wrong. I mean, Cowherd always does his segment of right and wrong. I think it's always very interesting on those kind of Mondays. Damian Harris will have a good day on the ground for New England, but Sean McDermott will outcoach Bill Belichick, and I rarely say stuff about this. In this game, this will be a signature moment for the Buffalo Bills, though, nonetheless. The Buffalo Bills will take down the New England Patriots in this game by a final score of 38-20. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. This game will feature who avoids last place in the AFC West. Justin Herbert is a much better quarterback than Drew Lock is right now and at the moment, and that could very well be the difference in this football game. However, if the Chargers lose this game, Anthony Lynn needs to go, and this team has way too much talent, and they could go on a run, though. Because, hey, it's 7 playoff teams in the AFC. They're 2-4. I think they're like in 10th or 11th place right now. I mean, hey, you could string a couple of wins together and be back into things. But this team has to learn to finish games, and that starts on coaching. Vic Fangio could also be coaching for his job in Denver. General manager John Elway is a mess, though, nonetheless. The Los Angeles Chargers will win this game over the Denver Broncos by a final score of 38-14. San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. This game is going to dictate the NFC West potentially for the remainder of the regular season. If the San Francisco 49ers win, San Francisco could potentially be one of those teams. If the San Francisco 49ers win, here comes a 4-team dog war fight until the very end. If the Seattle Seahawks win, San Francisco could potentially be one of those teams out of the race, though, nonetheless. The 49ers are banged up, but they are going to be fine because it appears as if they're going to start stringing some wins together despite the plethora of injuries. And I mean, injuries are a key part of the game, but you also got to give credit where credit's due, right? So General Manager John Lynch, Head Coach Kyle Shanahan deserve a lot of credit because they keep finding these players off the street. That's good on their scouting department. And here we are. With that being said, with all the injuries and the 49ers are banged up, but they're going to be fine because as if they're going to start stringing some wins together despite the plethora of injuries. Oh, jeez. I repeated that line, didn't I? They are more deeper with JaMychal Hasty in the backfield, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and other receiving weapons for Jimmy Garoppolo. He will sling it out against a very bad Seattle Seahawks defense. Russell Wilson will do a lot of damage in this game, but Carlos Dunlap, who was acquired in a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals, won't be there in time, though, nonetheless, because of the whole coronavirus protocols that teams got to go through. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett will be locked in at the wide receiver position, but they will find a way to lose this game once again. Kyle Shanahan and Pete Carroll will play chess and checkers in this one, though, nonetheless. The San Francisco 49ers will take down the Seattle Seahawks by a final score of 24-23. I mean, that could potentially be like... Excuse me. That's like one of the few games where it could just be like... Excuse me, I'm just like... I guess I'm like out of words with this game with San Francisco Seattle. Because it's like you gotta win games with war in the trenches. Like, it all starts on the line with the San Francisco 49ers. We'll take down the Seattle Seahawks by a final score of 24-23. And then next up is the New Orleans Saints versus the Chicago Bears. This will have huge ramifications for the NFC wildcard. Drew Brees and Nick Foles haven't exactly played sharp this season. Both of these defenses are very good as well. The question won't be X's and O's with Sean Payton and Matt Nagy. The question will be... who executes better? Both of these teams are limited with offensive weapons due to injuries, though, nonetheless. The New Orleans Saints will take down the Chicago Bears on a last-second field goal. On a last-second field goal by a final score of 19-18. Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. If Andy Dalton can't play this weekend for the Dallas Cowboys because he's currently in concussion protocol, it is going to be Ben DiNucci, the James Madison product from an FCS school. This will be a long game for Dallas again and Mike McCarthy's bunch. Carson Wentz will play well enough just to win despite him being an average and washed up quarterback, and he looks good against hard teams. Well, I guess, yeah, bad teams make bad quarterbacks look good, right? I'm not Colin Cowherd. I'm not Stephen A. Smith or whoever else, or Dan Orlovsky hopping on the, oh, Carson Wentz is so great bandwagon. No, I'm not hopping on that wagon. And I remember an Eagles fan texting me last week. I guess that's pretty good for a washed-up quarterback. Yeah. I get it. Is what it is. I'll have some interesting words if the Eagles lose, though, to the Dallas Cowboys. Jalen Hurts may be used as well in this game, though, nonetheless. Doug Peterson and his crew will have the Eagles ready to play at the Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, though, nonetheless. The Philadelphia Eagles will take down the Dallas Cowboys easily by a final score of 35-10. Oh, gosh. Next one, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Giants. Get ready for a Monday night football annihilation between Tom Brady and Daniel Jones. This is going to be really bad. Jones got his first win of his NFL career last season at Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay, Florida. This season will be at MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, though nonetheless. Bruce Arians has way better personnel than Joe Judge does. This is going to be ugly from start to finish. Brady has a plethora of weapons, despite not having Chris Godwin, but we'll still have Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, and now adding Antonio Brown. And Bruce Arians said, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, said Antonio Brown was great. Now, that was yesterday in practice, but I guess we'll see how the chemistry really hooks up with the two of them. That's obviously a thing that has to be remained to be seen. Oh, you also got Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones the second in the backfield. And then you got the New York Giants. Oh, yeah, their weapons are not as good. Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, Caden Smith, Golden Tate II, Sterling Shepard, Devontae Freeman, and Deion Lewis. Sheesh. This is really not what we New York Giants fan base imagined. Some of those guys will probably be traded by Tuesday's deadline, but I guess it obviously remains to be seen. Obviously, this crops of weapons isn't going to cut it weapon-wise for the New York Giants, though, nonetheless. I mean, this is just like, mercy, mercy. Please have mercy. This is ugly. And this is not going to really bode well in the long run. I mean, it really isn't. I mean, is that what we're going to say here? In the long run? Because obviously they're pushing for General Manager Dave Gettleman to get fired. I mean, they want to go after wide receiver Kenny Golladay from the Detroit Lions. And everyone on the New York Giants page is bashing General Manager Dave Gettleman. And, I mean, there's a reason why General Manager Dave Gettleman's poor at his job. And this is why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will squash the New York Giants by a final score of 41-14. Bold predictions for Week 8. For the bold predictions for Week 8, number 1, Joe Burrow will have more passing yards than Ryan Tannehill. Number 2, Baker Mayfield throws for 5 touchdowns again. Number 3, Tua Tagovailoa gets sacked 4 to 5 times in his NFL debut. Number 4, the San Francisco 49ers defense will give up less than 20 points against the Seattle Seahawks. Number 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense will give up less than 200 yards of offense to the Baltimore Ravens. In the final 4 minutes of the show, this was the bold predictions for Week 8. Ladies and gentlemen, as I sit here on another Thursday, you know what time it is, right? For the final take of today's show, which you probably all could probably figure out what it is. And I know my friends in my chat, we've been doing this all week, but I always wait till Thursdays to share it with them on this show, and they could bash me afterwards for it. Right? You could do whatever you want. So, here we are with my final take of today, which is the top 10 teams entering week 8 of the NFL season. Number 10, the Buffalo Bills. I still think they're a pretty good team. Yeah, you just barely beat the New York Jets, but that's okay. Number 9, the Seattle Seahawks. They're Russell Wilson dependent way too much. They don't have enough defense. Number 8, the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins connection on click. Underrated defense. Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons. You lose Chandler Jones, that hurts. But, I mean, this is a very good team, led by Cliff Kingsbury. And they also have Jordan Hicks. Number 7, Arizona was not ranked last week. Seattle was. They were lowered. Buffalo Bills dropped a spot. Number 7, the Los Angeles Rams. They move up a spot or two. I like Jared Goff and Sean McVay, that bunch. Number 6, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers. They're looking to trade for another wide receiver. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson and company. They got a big game this week. We'll see what happens. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Led by Tom Brady and crew. Number 3, Tennessee Titans. They almost came back to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were number 1 last week, but I still like them a lot. With Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, well coached by Mike Brable, Rashawn Brown, Kevin Byard, and Jayon Brown. And they also got Jeffrey Simmons. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. You got Patrick Mahomes and other weapons with Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and others. And number 1, the new number 1 this week is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So for the top 10 teams entering week 8 of the NFL season, number 10, the Buffalo Bills. Number 9, Seattle Seahawks. Number 8, Arizona Cardinals. Number 7, Los Angeles Rams. Number 6, Green Bay Packers, move up. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens, move up a bit. Number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, move up a bit. Number 3, Tennessee Titans, move down 2 spots. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. They move up a spot. And number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They moved up 2 spots. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of time here. Thanks for tuning in Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend as well. I'll be back on the air at the same time Monday. NFL trade deadline, Thursday night football, Sunday night football recaps of the 8th week in the NFL season, NHL and NBA offseason updates, MLB offseason updates, and the New York Mets sale as well. Use promo code 12OZ Sports. All cash with deposit bonus up to $1,000 from my bookie.